Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's AI image to video webinar. I'm Pamela, Content Marketing Manager at Pixelz. And before we dive into the topic today, I'm going to direct all of your attention over to the chat where I already see people saying hello. Hello, everyone. We are going to launch a poll here where we'd love to get some insight to find out if any of you have been experimenting already with AI image to video. Maybe let us know in the chat what tools you've been using. I'm sure other people would like to know what everyone's been testing out. And while you're answering that poll, I'm going to go ahead and welcome our product marketing manager all the way from our Barcelona office, Juncal, onto the webinar. Hello. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, Pamela. And you?
I'm very excited, and we've got some excited people in the chat already.
I see that, yeah.
I know they've already discovered the gift functionality, which is really fun. And but let us take a look at this poll that we asked everyone, and we have, let's see, 84% said yes, they've tested, 10.5% no, and 5% no, but I've done some research. What do you think? Are you surprised by this at all?
I'm really not. Like, nowadays it's relatively easy to go out and just test an image to video, right? Maybe it would be different, the result, if we would be asking actually implemented in your workflow. Yeah.
I mean, this is an excellent point because we asked if you've tested any image to video tools, and I think, we're going to get started here in a second talking about AI image to video, but I think what you'll see in the webinar today is that what we're about to show you is not a tool. It's not sort of like a come on in and try it out yourself. It's an end-to-end process to deliver fully post-production videos that are web ready. And with that, let's get started on the topic. We'll close the poll. And we're here to excitedly announce that image to video is live at Pixelz. And sorry, just getting the screen set up. And Juncal, you have been the product marketing manager on this. And I'm just curious if you could tell everyone why image to video, what made us pursue this, any insight into that?
Yeah, so we've already been offering the service of traditional video post-production in Pixelz for the last few years. And we were seeing that even though the brands know that video in the product detail pages increases the conversion rates and decreases the return rates, it's not that easy to actually produce the video, right? You need a very specific infrastructure with the cameras, the talent, even the storage for the videos, right? Which makes it a bit hard to start producing. Or even if you produce it already, like maybe it's a bit too expensive to produce video for all of your products, right? So we were looking, like as a product manager, I was asking myself, how can we make video more accessible, right? Like a lighter solution. And actually last year we released, Pamela, I think we were mentioning with you in the last webinar, the mobile uploads, right? Where our clients can just record the product video with their mobile phones and send them straight away to Pixelz. That makes it already much lighter, much simpler. But now we wanted to take it one step further. So if actually you can generate videos with your existing images, then basically you need no infrastructure and even no AI talent if you do it with Pixelz.
Yeah, and I think, we see that a lot of people have experimented with video for PDP, but I think this opens up so many doors to how you can use video content, whether it's on the PDP, the category page. If you stick around to the end, we've got sort of a teaser of what elevated looks like that could end up on your socials or really anywhere you need to use it. But we've talked now already too much without actually showing a video. So should we finally show everyone a video? We are screen sharing today, so I do ask, at the end of this webinar, go to our website to see the video in their full glory, because here we're kind of showing it through multiple layers. But here is one of our AI image to videos. This is model Nicole. And, you know, when we were trying to choose which videos to include in this presentation, you brought up why this video is so impressive. What were the challenges here that you were worried about, but actually came out all right?
Exactly. So one of them, as you can see, is the translucent cloth, right? The cloth is not completely a black. And this is not something that you can get good results all the time. So it's consistent, the transparency, right? And you can see that in the socks and in the leaves, how it actually is very consistent. Also the reflection of the glasses, right? That one is not easy to get right. Yeah.
And it is my favorite part of this video, actually, is that reflection in the glasses. It looks amazing. Yeah, so this is the...
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say that also one that sounds obvious is the black garments. So sometimes the black is not so easy to get the details. And here, even if it's black, you get really the details of the cloth and of the logo.
The like embroidery almost piece there. Yeah, and so this is the final video, but we are going to walk you through what it took to make this today. Here is just a general overview of what this workflow looks like, and we're going to dive deep into each of these pieces of it. But basically, we go from specification to order to generation, our review step, post-production, and then it's done. But it's a little more complicated than that. So let's go in depth here with the image to video specification. This is where it all starts. How does this work?
So as we saw before, to get a final PDP video, normally we need multiple clips. But let's start with a simple example, like we are going to generate one clip, okay? And the first thing that we need is one input asset, like one still image, like an on-model image. And this is going to act as the visual baseline of the video, meaning that all the visuals from the image, like the physical characteristics of the model, the outfit, the accessories, all of this is going to be transferred to the final video. And how we are going to transfer it is by adding a motion layer to it. We are going to animate the image. And how we animate the image? Well, we need to define the specifications on how the model is going to move, what's the acting of the model when moving, camera movement, framing, where the camera is going to focus in the product. So all of those are the specifications we need to define at the beginning. We are going to translate those into a prompt, which basically is what is going to give the instructions to the AI on how to animate that image.
And I think this is probably one of the most important steps, because this is where we need to spend time to understand the brand, right? This is where there's a lot of creative control for the client and the brands we're working with, because all sorts of video motion is going to reflect back on your brand, right? And I think the other important thing to point out here is, you explained this. This is where I got caught up when you explained it to me the first time. But it's really interesting is the other part that makes this function really well and scalable is if I'm a client or a brand, once we work together to develop a prompt for like a sundress, we're done.
Yep.
Any other sundress that I want a clip of, we've already built that out and established our like brand specification for this video, right?
Per type of video, yes. So you do it once for a style of a video or a type of a video. But then if you change the style or you have another style for a secondary brand, then you need to create a different specification, yeah.
Right. So we've made it to the prompt, but everyone is going to ask about that input asset. And how many do we actually need to create a clip or a video?
Well, as we saw, with just one clip, we can give the instructions to animate this image. So that would be enough. But then if you want to showcase a motion where you show parts of the model or the garment that are not in the one image, you actually need two images, right? Because what's invisible in the image, the things that are invisible in this visual baseline, the AI can make them up, and they do actually a pretty good job. But if you really want to have accuracy, then it's better to have two images. And then the first one is going to act as the first frame of the video. The second one is going to be the last frame. And then we're going to animate what's in between them.
So it's also just another, all depending on what you want and how much movement and dynamicism we'll use in that video. And we'll kind of take it a step further to explain all of this. So here we've kind of laid it out to maybe hopefully make it make sense. If we think back to that first video we showed you, the finished video, that was compiled of multiple clips, right? So here we have all the input assets that generated the clip below.
Yeah, and this takes me as well on best practices to improve the consistency throughout the assets, right? So we are using the assets above that we're showing above, the input assets. Mm-hmm. In a lot of cases, they've been shot with the intent of being used just as an image showcase of the garment. But this doesn't mean that with these, you're going to get the best possible outcome, right? So we are starting to work with our clients, and I think this is a concept that we will see more and more in the industry of shooting with intent, which means when I am shooting the still image, if I know that I am going to turn this into an AI video, then I'm going to shoot with the intent of making it consistent, showing all the parts of the body, right? So the face is not turning, so the pose is clear, and then you get closer to get the best possible outcome from your video.
And I think it's really cool here is seeing the amount, I think, of content that can be spun out of images, because yes. I keep looking at the leftmost clip, and I should say that all of these clips you're seeing here at the bottom, these are unedited, no post-production on those. But the one at the bottom there, I keep thinking like, well, if you're selling sunglasses, like you've got a video, you've just got a few second clip right here. It's like perfect. And it goes into the long form video as well, which is amazing.
Yeah.
Yes. So this is to explain inputs and how we get to the prompting stage. We've worked on the prompts for you. We've done all of that. This is the step that does require client to come in and do something, which is upload assets and submit the order, basically. And then we'll get to work on the other part, which is the generation part. And we've made it really simple. We take the assets, we generate the clips. And I would like to think it's that simple, but I don't think it is. So, and we create or we generate loads of clips, and we're able to do that because of this, which I'm not expecting anyone to be able to read. That's not, it's not the point of this. But this is to explain our process and how we approach and how we've approached not just image to video, but I think sort of generative AI in general, if you want to elaborate.
In general. Yeah, exactly. Because, well, actually, to only produce an asset, it is simple, kind of, right? But we've been really working hard on making a difference here, because we see that in the market, yes, there's a lot of options, but most of them are self-serve tools, which means you need to manually upload the assets, write the prompt, wait for the generation, download the output, check the output, make the decision on what to do with it. So there's like a lot of steps. And from the product discovery with clients, we know that this is one of the main reasons why nowadays it's being hard for them to implement the AI in their workflow. So basically, we've been working on this AI studio, which is a layer in our system, a production layer in our system that takes care of generating all the AI assets automatically and at scale. And it's connected with the rest of the parts of our system. It's connected with the Pixelz platform, with the SAW post-production, where we do the post-production, the final editing for the images and for the videos. And we've also built it with the same philosophy that we have in our whole system, which is blending all the power of the technology with the human creativity.
It was the best summary that I could give of this slide that you can't read. But I think that's said perfectly. There are like steps, if you were to dive into this, there are steps in here we've labeled as what is customer facing, what requires the human input. And I think something we didn't acknowledge earlier, especially talking about the creating the specification part, is internally expanding our teams. Recently had a new person join the team in Barcelona, Christina, who's an art director, and her role is to really help us translate these things into AI and to make sure that your creative brand DNA is still existing in everything we generate.
Exactly, yeah. All
right, so we get the clips. That brings us to my favorite step. It's because it's where we show you the weird little quirks of AI. And in this GIF, you can see that the hair kind of just like spaghettis away. Aesthetic review is really important to us now, especially with all this generative AI solutions we offer. And it's all about us making decisions, basically.
Yeah, and it's not, the technology has improved very rapidly, and we don't see anymore all those 6 fingers mistakes and and all those artifacts. But still, AI still has this random nature, right? So even if we have been reducing this randomness by thoroughly benchmarking and testing and building best practices, still more often than not, the raw output from the AI needs some adjustments to be actually usable in your PDP. So this is the human QA step that we have in the AI studio, where we have a person having a look to the raw output from the AI and checking if it's ready for post-production for adjustments, or making creative decisions like, do I need to iterate the prompt? Do I need to play again with the randomness of the AI and give it a second shot and see how it's going to look like? And yeah, I think it's a very important step.
Yeah, and I think we talk a lot about with AI about guardrails and making sure, sort of building a safety bumper around AI. And I think the aesthetic review is a very important step for us to ensure that the AI acts as we want it to.
And also to make this full service, right? So it's not that the brands need to be checking every output to see if it's correct. No, this is transparent for them.
Yes. All right. So we've chosen then the clips that get sent off to video post-production. And it's probably my favorite part because at the end of the day, all those clips that were generated by AI just slip into our regular video post-production.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, there's nothing too AI or fancy or shiny, I guess, about this. We've done video post-production for quite a few years now. So there technically is maybe artifact fixing, but it gets the color correction, composition, just like any other video clips you would send to us.
Exactly.
And then once that's done, it goes back to the client, review it. Did we hit the notes for on brand, and download and ready to go? And I would like to say it's simple. We've been talking for 20 minutes. I think we'll show the overview again here and point out like where the parts are that Pixelz steps in versus the part that we require, sort of like a client input or touch point. But we're going to look at a few more examples so you can see some more image to video in action. So we did show throughout this webinar clips, unedited clips. So just to remind you, here is what was the final output of all those clips. This one video. Get that reflection again. And here we have an example of what happens when we actually used just the pack shots and styled the whole outfit. You see, we even get a close-up of the necklace here that he's wearing. And this is a completely synthetic model.
And you know what I really like from this video? Well, I really like two things. The first is the movement of the cloth of the shirt.
Yeah.
Like that one feels very natural, right? And the other one, which I was amazed, is how consistent the pattern is when the cloth is moving. That's a very tricky one. And yet we got quite good results from this one.
I think it might be the close-up on the necklace. We styled it so well, and you see each and every item of this collection. So I'm just quite impressed with how this video turned out, seeing that it wasn't shot originally on a model.
Yeah.
And then this is my favorite video. You're gonna see here in a second, we get this angle right here, the sort of down angle. I don't know why. I really like it. I think it turned out so well.
I think it adds technical complexity, the high angle, because it changes the proportion of the human, right? So then it's more likely to get issues or artifacts, and it's very impressive, the result as well.
Yeah, so this has been my favorite. If we're voting, I'm voting for this one as my favorite. And here's the last example we have of this standard PDP. We get sort of classic.
I'm sorry, Pamela. I'm so excited. I'm interrupting. That's for this one. Even though it looks very obvious, when doing the thorough benchmarking and testing, it's not that easy to get the details of the knit when it's very thin. And here it's very realistic. Seems like an obvious one, but it's not that straightforward.
Sneaky. And now, in the beginning of this webinar, I did say, if you stuck around, we have been just testing elevated video. So this, again, is image to video, but elevated. So here we go. I mean, elevated enough that it's going to lag for a second, guys. This is quite beautiful. Christina, like I said, our new art director, worked on this. Incredible. I think it turned out so great. I could easily see this as, category page on a homepage of an e-com site. And then we have this last one, also elevated. This one, it's the sunlight that gets me. You'll see it in a second. Here, there we go. Yeah.
Super nice.
So I have to play it again. So
you really like it, this one.
I think they're quite incredible.
Yeah, they are.
And as I said, we're just going to end with a quick summary again of this workflow, because I think we talked about so much and so much that we do to bring these videos to life. But I really wanted to point out here that these dots in green, that on the client side, they're really only involved in helping us make sure we get the image to video specification right. Yeah. Then they have to upload their assets, and then they check them at the end. And that's really the only part of the process. where
Same as with the other products or assets they have edited. Same Pixelz platform, everything.
and that means it's time for Q&A. We've made it to the end.
We've made it. Let's see what questions do we have.
We've got some good questions. We have one question here. Can it be done on a colored background or in a different setting?
Yes, meaning the first basic video that we're doing for the PDP, let's not say basic, let's say the most common, we use the background from the image, but we have different options as well to change the background. We can edit it, we can prompt it, so there are options. Yeah.
And let's see, what kind of permissions do you need from models or model agencies in order to use them? How do the model contracts change when we start introducing AI into usage?
Well, this is a very good question. This is very interesting because it's true that with the first testings and with the first clients, we saw that they have the model rights to shoot the still images, but then when they need to turn it into a video, sometimes that one is not covered. The way we can solve it right now, even if we don't change the contract or the agreement, we can do model swap, right? So you first model swap the model, and then you do the video, and that's it. Or we could even do unrecognized video, right? So you don't see the face of the model, but you use let's say the on model part, the body, and then you can do the video. Yeah.
Okay, we've got loads of questions now. How do you handle creating parts of the product that are not visible in the source files, e.g. interior of shirt in sample where model takes it off and flips it inside out?
How do you handle creating parts of the product that are not visible in the source files?
I'm wondering if they're referencing the model that takes the shirt off.
Yeah.
And we see the what?
Yeah, I think so. You know what, Thomas, you got me here. I need to ask Christina. I really don't know how she prompted this one. Yeah, probably she added a reference image in the workflow. Yeah, and it's also true that this is a digital twin. So
yeah, we do have those were created from PackShot, I will say, which means we did have in the PackShot image parts of the inside of the shirt. So it wasn't a complete unknown, but we can answer that. Not here live. How is AI image to video from Pixelz so different from other tools?
Well, I would say there's three things. So the first one, and I think the most important, is that actually it's integrated in a workflow that we can produce at scale and can be integrated with your own workflow if you have it, right? Combining both the technology and the human. So it reduces all the manual work, all the in-between steps where you need to manually check the output, wait for it, all that. So you only input the assets, get the final video or the final assets, and that's it. That's one thing. And then the other one I would say is that, as I was mentioning before, AI is random by nature. So you really need best practices. You really need to test on how to do it to reduce this randomness and to be able to produce consistently. As well, best practices on what are the best inputs, what are the best ways of shooting with intent to reduce all this and to improve consistency, which is super important.
Yeah, and I think, you said it better, but we said it at the beginning. I don't think we view this as just a tool. There's a lot more wrapped up into it than it being a quick and simple tool that spits out AI content. We've tried to, so I think for me, that's the biggest difference maker is I don't think we view it as just a simple tool. We are at time, basically. Thank you everyone so much for joining us. couple things before we head out of here. For the leader in this webinar video. So go check those out. If you're interested in learning more about image to video, if you have a customer success manager, you can reach out to them, or on the landing page that links to a form to fill out and someone will be in touch with you. And lastly, if you want to chat in person about AI, about photo studios, about post-production, we have 2 Flow events upcoming. Next week, we'll be in Los Angeles, and then at the end of March, we will be in Barcelona. So I believe the links are being put in the chat. So we hope to see you there, and we hope to see you on the next webinar. Thank you everyone so much for joining today.
Thank you.